It's about that time, y'all. It's finally about that time. It looks so good, man. Ooh, feels the aura just walking in. Bro, he looks so good. Look at our boy, man. Look at our boy with the shot. Man, I gotta run that back. I gotta run that back. Just listen to him, man. Listen to him. And the music too, man. This is the music too, man. This is shaping up to be a legendary project, a legendary anime piece of media right here, man. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful, beautiful day to be a fan of the greatest manga out right now, Kagurabachi. Because at long last, we finally have our anime announcement. At long last, man, enough time has passed. We've been waiting for this shit for so long, and now we finally have it. April 2027, pretty less than a year from now, pretty much a year, but that's okay, because we gonna give them time to cook. You know, they've probably been cooking a long time before this too, but we're gonna give them more time to cook because we know that this is gonna be the best thing since sliced bread, man. We're gonna be feasting, eating. I'm gonna take off the bachi picture because I just want to show still frames. But man, all this stuff is stuff from episode 1. You know, I want to go through it a little bit. You know, this is from the first page. You know, forging, also known as tanren. Oh my god, it just looks so good. The animation style is something that like I haven't really seen before. I mean, it's probably been done before. I'm just not that, I guess, cultured in the anime space, but I love like the kind of 3D look. Oh, yeah, you get the fish, man. It looks so good. And right here, you can kind of get a good look at the art style. Man, it looks good. Got this out here. Yeah, from this angle or this perspective, it pretty much looks like a standard anime, but I don't know, when you see him in movement and stuff, like, and he's got the trench coat too. Yes, this is a really good shot. I know exactly what page it's from too, except I don't. Actually, let me look at some of the pages. I wonder if this shot is this page from the manga. You know, obviously he's gripping the sword differently, but whether it is or not, I like how you can just. This is a very good demonstration of how they're using the new kind of art style from the manga, as opposed to the old one. You know, the old one, it's kind of known for having frog faces. You know, he just looks really different right in these two pictures. This one is probably this shot. You know, we have this, just him drawing. Here, look. This is 100% this. Okay. I know that. And then so in the next action sequence that we're not seeing, it's gonna turn into him doing this, which is, oh my god, it's so good, man. And then 100%, you know, super obvious. This shot is just this panel. You know, they didn't have to do much. You know, already I'm not one of those people that's gonna be, oh, it's not 1-to-1 from the manga. Already, or I could even be wrong because he was holding the katana in his next to his head right there, but he wasn't doing that in the panel. Already they're changing stuff, but for this panel they didn't need to change anything. It's just so good. We're feasting, we're eating. And then last of all, this is obviously this. Another good demonstration on how the art styles are going to be different. I definitely like the new art style better, and they definitely made the right choice of using it for the anime because it just looks better, man. Like his, I don't know, stupid ass frog face bitch. This is just so cool to see. Like, this is Kagurabachi is the first manga I've read that had like 0 anime out. So just to see it to go from go from the pages to the screen. It's just so surreal to me, man. Like I never, even though it's pretty easy to imagine, like I still couldn't have imagined that it looked like this. And it's been cool to be in a fandom like this. You know, I love being a Bachi bro. You know, people have been lamenting that the, community is gonna change now, but hey man, that's just something that comes along with the territory. You know, this is gonna be the next big thing. As big as JJK, as big as Demon Slayer, I guarantee it. So man, it's gonna be a lot of that going around, but hey man, that's just what it just comes with the territory, man. I know this chapter's coming really late. I'm really slow at making videos, but we're actually in another break week because Takeru Hokuzono has come down with a sudden illness. So I just want to say real quick, prayers up to Hokuzono. We're pouring honey on you, goat. Making you feel better. Hope you feel better. Take all the time you need. This motherfucker is 25 and he's already dealing with illnesses and health complications. Shueisha, Shonen Jump. When I get you, man. But yeah, I just wanted to react to that on my channel real quick. Something else I wanted to do is kind of theorize about what chapters are going to go into what episode. Maybe how many episodes we're going to get just in general. We kind of got pseudo confirmation because in that sick ass live action set that they made, there's a few tales. I can't remember them all right now, but the most telling one was the elevator doors that come at the end of chapter 60, where the let's get fired up scene, and that's what kind of the consensus is becoming of where the season is going to end. It's the one that makes the most sense. It makes the most sense to me. That's where I think the season's going to end. So I've kind of compiled my little predictions on which chapters I think will go into which episode. So it's just my little Google Doc. This might look scuffed to y'all. I was thinking about making a video about this in the future, but I don't know. Most of, the information is just right here. I just want to talk about it. If I do make one, it's just going to be more streamlined. And I'm also going to, theorize my own episode names too. I started doing that, but then I kind of stopped. So boom, the first 18 chapters of Kagurabachi is the Sojo arc. And I think that's going to be 8 episodes. It's not going to be a very long arc. Most of these, they adapt like 3 chapters at a time. There's a lot of fights in Kagurabachi. So, those fights, it's not going to take a big chunk of the episode. Chapter 1 is obviously a longer chapter. I think it's either going to be called N10 or Mission. Episode 2 is going to be called Witness because it's going to be about Char. As you can see some of these, if you're very familiar with the Kagurabachi manga, you're going to know what these little notes are. Ends with a Azami introduction. It's whenever Chihiro gets into a fight and then he's about to get into another one, but then Azami pulls up to save him, and that's like a little cliffhanger. Episode 4, halfway through the arc is going to be when this is actually the end of volume 1 right here would be episode 4. And it's going to be when, Sojo just fucking pulls up on Chihiro. Episode 5, they're just going to be fighting the whole time. The first fight. And then it's going to end with the anti-Cloud Gadger squad. Episode 6. Here, I actually have. Episode 6. I think it's going to end with this beautiful little flashback where he unlocks Kuro Shred. The start of episode 6 is going to be the anti-Cloud Gadger fight. And then episode 7, it's going to get into the final fight of Chihiro and Sojo. Episode 8. I actually don't know where I said. I think episode 8 is going to be where the 12-second fight happens. So yeah, first 8 episodes, that's going to be the Sojo arc. That's 2 volumes right here. 8 episodes. And the next 10 episodes, that's going to be the Rakuzachi arc. This is 2 volumes worth of content right here. And then here's 3 volumes worth of content. I didn't put many notes in the Rakuzachi arc one. I'll just show you episode 46. Episode 46 is just where the volume ends. It's whenever Chihiro is trying to join the Kamonabi, and then their meeting is interrupted because they're actually attacking the sword bearers. They're attacking the Sanso fortresses where they're hiding the sword bearers. So yeah, episode 18 is going to end with chapter 46, and then chapter 47 is I have this volume. So then the start of the new arc, it's going to start with this panel. The introduction of Uruha, and then episode 20. I just know, man. This could, y'all can quote me on this. Come back to it. I'm pretty sure episode 20. It's gonna be around that area, not exactly episode 20, but there's gonna be an episode fully devoted to Samura, and it's gonna be named Samura. So, y'all be ready for that. It's gonna be hype. It's gonna break the internet. Most goated blind swordsman ever. And then yeah, man, this is gonna be it's gonna be 5 episodes of the Swordbearer assassination arc. It's gonna pretty much cover. It's gonna introduce Samura. We're gonna get hyped for him, get attached to him, but then he's gonna betray us. He's gonna betray us. He's gonna kill some people that we don't want to be killed. The season isn't gonna cleanly end on the end of a volume, but I think that's okay because volume 6 ends with this panel whenever Samura gets the Tobe Mune, but that's chapter. What chapter is that? That's chapter 56 right here. So then the rest of this episode and on next episode, it's gonna be a standoff with Uruha. It's gonna be a standoff with Chihiro. He's gonna do some things, and then I really think that the season's gonna end with episode 60, whenever Chihiro gets revived. I'm trying not to spoil, but I'm also talking in only people who are very familiar with the manga are gonna understand what I'm saying. So yeah, he's gonna kill Chihiro, but we know he's not gonna die. He comes back to life, and he's gonna join the Masumi, this spiffy suit. And yeah, man, that's gonna be where the season ends. It could be whenever I did my little reread through and I was trying to map chapters to episodes, I landed on 23 episodes. It could obviously be 23 or 24. It depends on what they want to do with the pacing. If they want to add some anime only stuff, it's definitely going to be 24 episodes. But I don't know, it fit cleanly into 23. I think whatever they do is going to be sick. But yeah, man, I think that's about it, man. This season of anime is gonna be the next big thing. Not that it needs it, but I hope this kind of releases whenever there's nothing else really going on. I think it'll be fine either way, but like, for example, if it released at the same time that the next season of JJK was coming out, it's gonna be inevitable that more people will pay attention to the JJK than this new anime. But I think it'll be fine either way, man. We got the Hook arc to pull you in. The first eight episodes are just gonna be a sick ass villain, sick ass fights, and then the next arc, the Rakuzachi arc, that's just more writing, character work. Let the author cook. It's gonna be sick as hell. It's got the world building, and then the last 5 episodes, that's just gonna be the tease into the best arc in Kagurabachi. I think as the arcs go on, it just only gets better. Probably even today too. We got the Seitei War arc going on right now. I low-key want to make a video on the Hiroshima talks, but I got one thing at a time, man. And then yeah, the cliffhanger that it hangs on, Samura is gonna be an antagonist going into season 2. Not necessarily a villain, but an antagonist. So that'll just be good. It's gonna be so good. But yeah, man, that's about it. Holla at your boy. You.
Gotta make up my mind to look ahead, not behind. I can feel it burning through. Break any bone.